Our Grinchly adversary in the last vid voiced some of the standard objections to observing December 25th as the date of Jesus' birth. As I said in reply, I personally don't think it's that important what day Jesus was born. But is there in fact any evidence to connect Jesus' birth to that date? And why was it chosen? The oldest reference to any birth date of Jesus comes from Clement of Alexandria, who wrote at the end of the 2nd century. Some, he says, fix it on May 20th. He also reports that a group of heretics, who followed the teacher Basilides, fixed Jesus' birth date on January 6th. Others, he says, date it to April 19th or 20th. So how about December 25th? Well, we may have the earliest reference to December 25th in the work of an author named Hippolytus, who lived from around 170 to 236 AD. Eight days before the calends of January is, you've guessed it, December 25th. But you'll notice I said that this may be the earliest reference. There's also a good chance it may not be. For one thing, the provenance of this passage poses some problems, and not all of them are necessarily without solutions. If we don't have Hippolytus, then what are the earliest references to December 25th as Jesus' birthday? In 386 AD, John Chrysostom referred to a holiday on the date of Jesus' birth as a long-time tradition. A document called the Philocalian calendar, which was compiled around 350 AD, lists Christmas as an established church holiday. Finally, a Christmas massacre is reported by several sources as having occurred in 302 AD, when a large number of Christians were burned inside a church while celebrating the holiday. That's as far back as we can reliably go, it seems. But now let's discuss some incorrect reasons why critics think that date was chosen. A common argument by critics is that December 25th was chosen for Jesus' birth date to match pagan festivals scheduled for that date. There are three leading candidates for this argument. The first is a holiday that was called Sol Invictus. The argument goes that the pagan emperor Aurelian started a celebration of Sol Invictus in 274 AD, and supposedly December 25th was the date he selected. But in fact, the earliest inscription about this holiday doesn't mention December 25th as the date of the festival. It gives no date at all. It's not until the middle of the 4th century, about 100 to 150 years later, that anyone dated such a festival to December 25th. The second candidate is a festival called Saturnalia. Our chief source for this pagan holiday is an author named Macrobius, who lived in the early 5th century. He explains that Saturnalia was held on the 14th day before the calends of January. If you compare that to Hippolytus, you can easily figure out that that's 6 days difference, so it's not December 25th. The last candidate is a festival called Brumalia. This rather extended feast ran from November 24th to December 17th, and again, that doesn't quite make it. So obviously we have no evidence that Christians picked December 25th because it was the same day as a pagan festival. What does that leave us? There's one more option, and it's not a pagan festival but a more general calendar event, the winter solstice, which back then was in fact on December 25th. Could this have been a pagan influence on the selection of the date of Jesus' birth? Christian critics who argue this may want to be careful, because non-Christian critics also have claimed that the date of the resurrection and Passover were chosen because they were on the same date as the spring equinox, and that therefore the resurrection story was rooted in pagan myths. But actually, there's a connection between the two dates that explains precisely why December 25th was chosen as Jesus' birth date, and it has more to do with the spring equinox than with the winter solstice. In the earlier church, a belief had developed that Jesus had been conceived in the Virgin Mary's womb on the same calendar day he would die, that is, on the spring equinox. Count back 9 months from that and you get, well, December 25th. So in the end, December 25th was chosen as Jesus' date of birth only because sometime in late March was chosen as the date of his conception. And that's all there is to it. So in the end, was Jesus born December 25th? Maybe. But again, in my opinion, it doesn't make a lot of difference. And it certainly wasn't chosen as the date of his birth because of pagan influences.